What's on the Barrel with your host, Devin Andolsen. This week.
This is another edition of the What's on the Barrel. I'm your host, Devin Andolsen. Today we've got a distinguished guest, Kate Payne-Brown. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm good.
No, that's fantastic. Are you ready to see what's on the barrel?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Ooh, yeah. Looks like our Legacy Series, 2018. Nancy.
Nancy.
Fancy Nancy.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about Nancy?
So Nancy is actually named after Bill Stoller's sister, Nancy. There's a lot of whole cluster in Nancy's.
Now let's talk about that whole cluster. What exactly is going on there?
So rather than separating the berries from the stems, we keep them intact, and then we put them into the tank.
Okay.
And the tank is fermented with the fruit and the stems, and you get a lot of different aromatics.
Great.
So get a lot of cinnamon characteristics, a lot of spice.
Sure.
Some tannin. And then whole cluster, I think a whole cluster was around 35 to 50% whole cluster. Yeah, I like using whole cluster a lot. So, yeah.
Whole cluster.
Whole cluster.
Whole cluster.
Whole cluster. How many times do you think we said whole cluster?
You know what? It's an ongoing segment, so it's going to be hard to guess. Whole cluster. Did that count? I think it did.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Fantastic. Well, you want to get into this wine here?
Yeah, would love to.
I'd say right off the bat, you can smell that whole cluster.
I agree with you. This wine definitely has a whole cluster,
Awesome. Does whole cluster impact the density on the palate?
Indeed. All that tannin, you get one, because of the stems, it increases the potassium, which increases the pH. And so it changes the shape of the wine on the palate.
If this bottle were to have a nickname, whole cluster?
Could be.
Hashtag
Whole cluster.
I love it. Well, fantastic.
Enjoy.
Yeah, it's so good.
So good.
Just lost my train of thought.
Good.
But I'm back.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
Whole cluster.
Whole cluster.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To whole cluster.
To whole cluster. I think that wraps up the show. We really appreciate you being here and hope to see you next time. Whole cluster.